Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamualaikum. Ji ayanu bkhair agale ni hao chunishumme washmale. Ohai Gonzaimus, guten Morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal? Hale shuma chatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba, buna mucho gracias, swabi balli kare aaya. Hoş geldin and I say khuyamora chi vatto chi haljot kali mera khairutan. And a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and watching World this morning alongside my wonderful colleague who happens to be Miss Eesha Rehan. I happen to be Shahzad Khan, and we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your week with us. But first things first, hello Eesha, assalamu alaikum. How was your weekend and how are you doing today?
Walaikum assalam, Shahzad. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. This is why I enjoy coming back on Mondays, especially after a long weekend.
You say that, you know, this was a wonderful introduction. Do you know who I remember? I remember Talat Sahab.
Oh, wow.
That's an internal joke.
That's an internal joke. But all right, Shahzad, my weekend was actually very great. I got to relax. I also went horse riding and then spending time with family and friends, going to eat out. But, you know, I always enjoy coming back to work because of colleagues like you, wonderful people who always make my day very joyous and happy.
So I think that, you know, the only being who was not able to relax over the weekend was the horse that you were riding. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with it, as we do know for a fact that monsoon rain spells are going on and there's news that, you know, that there might be another monsoon spell. So let's take a good look at the weather first. The National Disaster Management Authority has issued a nationwide alert for intermittent to heavy monsoon rains through July 25. Authorities have warned on potential river and flash flooding, particularly in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where the Kabul, Swat, Panchkora, Kalpani and Baranallas may swell. In Punjab, water levels at Taunsa and other key points along the Indus, Chenab and Kabul rivers are expected to rise to low to moderate flood levels. The NDMA has advised residents in vulnerable or low-lying areas to relocate valuables and livestock in advance and to avoid crossing fast-flowing streams, bridges or inundated roads.
And not just this, the Meteorological Department has predicted monsoon rains in the Twin Cities starting from today. According to the WASA spokesperson, in view of the expected rains, WASA Rawalpindi is on high alert. The managing director, Salim Arshaf, states that after the last rain, heavy machinery being used to clear the mud heaps and blockages from Nala Lay. He says the rain emergency has been declared and all field staff levels have been cancelled. He says that heavy machinery and staff are present at the monsoon emergency camps and all the arrangements for water drainage from low-lying areas after the expected rains have been completed. The public is urged to take precautionary measures during the trying time of rainfall, and this speaks of how we need to be prepared for our infrastructure development because of the erratic rain behaviors, right? So I think sanitation and being precautious is not just an option now, it's a necessity.
Exactly. Thank you so much for summing it up wonderfully well, Eesha. And in addition to this, while we're speaking of Pakistan, I think it's really important that we look at globally that, you know, how the weather is behaving, because imagine that the Hong Kong has hunkered down as Typhoon Wifa, packing winds of more than 167 kilometers per hour, brought heavy rain and wind across the territory, prompting the city to issue its highest storm warning. The Hong Kong Observatory raised its storm warning signal, forcing the cancellation of more than 200 flights. Hurricane force wind is affecting the southern part of Hong Kong, with most public transport, including ferries, suspended amid high sea swells. Residents were advised to shelter indoors as the storm lashed across the city. According to state broadcaster CCTV, China's southern provinces of Hainan and Guangdong also battled strong winds and flooding. In Haikou, the capital of Hainan province, heavy rainfall caused street flooding.
And not just this, South Korea is also facing the devastating effects of flood and rainfall. South Korea launched a sweeping recovery effort as the country continues to battle heavy rain that has led to deadly floods. At least 2 more people were killed during the heavy downpours in South Korea, bringing the death toll from 14 up to 14 because of the rains. The toll could rise up to 12 people and could still be uncontained after 5 days of heavy rain. Close to around 170 millimeters of rain hit the country, and the scientists have stated that climate change has made an extreme weather events more frequent and intense around the world, which is why we need to be very cautious about what initiatives are we taking and are we taking the right precautionary measures to make the earth feel comfortable so we stay comfortable on earth.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Eesha, for saying that. You know, you actually sound very sane today early in the morning as well, where what people really need to do is make sure that they do not contribute to climate change or global warming. But while we are over here, ladies and gentlemen, there's a bit of good news that I would want to share with our audiences who are out there. Imagine that, you know, Pakistan actually beat Iran to win the Asian Under-16 Volleyball Championship. And this is a hallmark that Pakistan has achieved. And not just that, Prime Minister Shahbaz Sahab has congratulated the entire team, you know, because imagine that what the team management had to say was that we are just so grateful to have created history for Pakistan. This win is a result of so many sacrifices, exclaimed the Pakistan Under-16 team head coach Kafayatullah as his team defeated the highly rated Iran 3-2 in the final held in Nakhon Pathom, Thailand on Saturday night. And to kind of speak about it and to be jubilant about this victory, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by the chairman, Pakistan Volleyball Federation. He is Mr. Mohammad YAQOOB. Hello, YAQOOB Sahab. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
All right, Mr. YAQOOB, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
All right. I think YAQOOB Sahab, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Wonderful. YAQOOB Sahab, first of all, congratulations on achieving a feat which looked like as if it will be difficult for Pakistan, but you defeated Iran and you made sure that you're going to emerge victorious. How do you feel about it?
And Pakistani boys made us very proud. They played 7 matches and they won all 7 matches. They did not lose any single match. In the preliminary round, Pakistan played against Korea. Korea remained 3-4 times Asian champion. We defeated Korea 3-0. Then we played against Saudi Arabia. We defeated Saudi Arabia also 3-0 with a very, very big margin. And then Pakistan played against Taiwan, and Pakistan defeated that. And Pakistan came up amongst out of his pool as number 1 team. And 2 teams come up out of each pool, and then Pakistan had to play against the number 1 and number 2 of the other pool. And Pakistan played against Indonesia, and then Pakistan played against Iran. Pakistan was able to win both, and resultantly Pakistan got into semi-finals. And in the semi-finals, Pakistan played against India, and Pakistan defeated India 3-0 straight, and Pakistan came to final. And again, from the other side, Iran again came up for final by playing in the cross match against Japan and winning from Japan, and Iran came up for final. Iran was the previous year's national champion, Asian champion. And we Pakistan team played out of, we could not imagine that out of such a stress. Pakistan lost the first 2 sets, but then they showed their lot of strength, inner strength, and Pakistan defeated Iran with 3 straight sets after that.
Exactly. Thank you so much, YAQOOB Sahab, and you know, congratulations on under your auspices. Obviously, Pakistan was able to achieve this feat. But there's one more interesting bit, and that is that Pakistan had finished 4th in the previous edition, and for them to clinch the title in 2025 has been nothing less than a fairy tale. So from the previous year, what changes did you make sure that were being done, or the coaching staff, or you know how the coaching actually took place, that they were able to clinch the title this year around?
You know, the under-16 they're very young boys. They're the school boys normally, and they are very young. What we did is that throughout the country, we carried out the talent hunt scheme. And we gave the advertisement through our local provincial associations, through the district associations. And we called out all the boys, whoever wants to come and give his trials. And our foreign coaches also, and our local coaches went there, and we tested all these boys who came from different parts, from KP, from Punjab, from other parts, and one from Gilgit-Baltistan also. I mean, many people came, and one was finally selected. So we carried out selection of about 30 boys, and then we started their training camp. For about 5 months, they were under training. And during that time, some of the boys went for their education for the schools, for their examinations also. And it was a very intensive training. It was very hot season. I'm very grateful to the army that since there was no availability of the training facility in the Pakistan Sports Board, so we requested army, and then there is a hall of indoor hall in Attak. So the training was carried out in Attak, and then we finally shifted in the final stage to Islamabad, because then there was a vacancy in Islamabad and the rooms were available and the hall was also available. So they played against a few matches also against the under-19 team, which is going for the World Championship. Now this year, the same team as you're talking about, last time they were number 3 in Asia actually. So the 3 teams had qualified for the World Championship. So they are the ones against whom they played few local matches, and that was the basic worry, that when you go to such a high class tournament, there's a lot of stress. Most of these boys belong to villages, small towns. So it was for the first time that they were being exposed to such a big environment and to international atmosphere. But I'm very happy. I'm so happy. They have great potential actually. You will be very happy to know.
Great potential, which actually did help us, clinch this title, and inshallah in days to come, Pakistan, because we have seen in all sorts of sports arenas, is actually making sure that they're going to make Pakistan proud. But thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much for, for being that leader who actually needs to provide a nurturing environment for all of their players who were out there. But for anybody and everybody, Eesha, who's out there, this is not the only place where we're winning. Right. So there's one more aspect that we actually won at, and I would want to share. And the images which came out of there, ladies and gentlemen, were beautiful, were magnificent. And all my life, I always wanted to be a fighter pilot. But alhamdulillah, I'm fighting my cause over here on television. Alhamdulillah, I'm going on air. My voice is on air as well. So ladies and gentlemen, imagine that the Pakistan Air Force wins 2 awards in United Kingdom. The fighter jets of Pakistan Air Force have won awards at the Royal International Air Tattoo 2025 in the United Kingdom, which ran from July 18th to 20th. The Royal International Air Tattoo is one of the largest military air shows that has been running for over 50 years and powers the Royal Air Force Charitable Trust. The JF-17 Block 3 has been awarded the Spirit of the Meat Trophy for its striking livery and incredible journey from Pakistan with non-stop air-to-air refueling, while C-130H Hercules was awarded Conquers the Elegance Trophy, and it looked magnificent.
Very phenomenal. And I think it speaks of the excellence and precision of our Pakistani pilots, because imagine fueling the aircraft at 35,000 feet in the air. That's like basically putting a needle inside a thread up high in such elevated airspaces.
And we might not be able to achieve it over here, but you know what? Okay, so Madam Sana, I'm going to request you one thing. I would want you to share the image of the C-130H tattoo, because that's exactly something that the audiences need to see. So if you can share that, I think that'll be very beautiful if we could share that image, because that's the image which actually stole the entire, show obviously from anybody and everybody who was actually participating. So look at that image.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was magnificent. And Pakistan Air Force over and over again make sure that, that they keep us proud, that they keep the Pakistani flag high up in the air. And it's always, I still remember that patriotic song which came out, Tum Hi Se Hai Mujahido.
Why don't you sing it for us?
It has always been really lovely to see that. Wow, I think magnificent.
I love to see Shahzad being so passionate about, fighter jets and cricket as well.
You know what, I would want to kind of mention it over here, because I did see that, how in United States of America, there's an entire squadron who actually takes celebrities on fighter jets. So I hope that, one day if Air Force, somebody's listening from the Air Force, please take us on a fighter jet, so that we could experience that adrenaline.
You know, if anyone's watching, please make sure to accommodate Shahzad
do
and
it.
make sure he flies in his private jet or fighter jet.
Yeah.
So, you know, Shahzad, this news made us really, really happy and joyful. But what other thing makes us feel like that? And that is interacting with the people around us and giving out hugs. So,
wow.
which is why today is actually Global Hug Your Children Day.
Yeah.
The Global Hug Your Children Day is being celebrated on the third Monday of every July, which is the 21st July, to celebrate the bond between parents and children. And the most simple and profound expressions of hugging is your children to express how much you love them. Hugging is a simple act of reassurance, comfort and safety, as well as trust, especially for children. The day was started by Michelle Nicholas in 2008 after her son died as a severe reminder to mothers and fathers to express affection to their children by hugging them. So Shahzad, did you hug your children today?
I mean, obviously, I hug them every day. I mean, imagine I literally have to beg them to kind of give me a hug. I'm like, Aleha, please give me a hug. She's like, okay, I'm all moody. You know, Meher, please give me a hug. But Alhamdulillah, you know, I think that's the kind of bond that I've had with them. And it's because of the fact that, you know, for us as sons, you know, it's really hard for us to go up to our father and be like, ek jappi to de do. You know, pata nahi wo lift hi nahi karate us kisam se. But yeah.
It's a reminder for everyone.
So imagine if you're not going to hug your kids, do you know what they're going to do? So a video has gone viral in which children are seen having a good time with a humanoid robot. The video was shot in China and left netizens awestruck. The humanoid robot developed by Chinese robotics company Unitree has been making appearances in parks and residential areas known for its high-tech quadruped robots. Unitree has now shifted focus to humanoid models, aiming to make these futuristic machines accessible to everyday families. So that's what's going to happen. So if you're not going to be out there for your kids, there'll be robots, and then please make sure that you don't complain, okay?
All right, so you know, in this world of iPads and smartphones and busy work schedules, make sure to take out time for your kids and families so you don't have to, you know, create a barrier between yourselves.
Exactly, not just that, you know, where we could see the robot running so fast, you know, maintaining its pace. Such is the pace of our economy as of now. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine that Pakistan in the last 22 years was not able to achieve this feat, but they have achieved it now, and we are all excited about it. Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, for the very first time in 22 years has actually broken the record of the surplus that they have had in a fiscal year, and that's up to $2.1 billion. And it's a good news, you know, for anybody and everybody who's out there. That means that the policies are in place. This means that for all of those steps taken to make sure that the economy prospers, ladies and gentlemen, is in the right direction. So all the indicators, may it be the KSC, may it be the stock exchange, are in the right direction. And obviously the foreign sentiment and the foreign investor will come in. And to speak about it, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody, ladies and gentlemen, who happens to be the member Prime Minister's Committee on Implementation of Tariff Reforms. He's Dr. MANZOOR Ahmad. Hello sir, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
Thank you very well. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Wonderful to have you over here. But sir, as Pakistanis, you know, every time there's some good news, we are very skeptical about it. So please take us through, sir. Waqai, you know, have we made a surplus of $2.1 billion?
Well, you know, this is a year of good news.
Yes,
All
You just came up with that football. That was very unusual for Pakistan.
Yeah.
Then you came up with that Air Force news.
Yes, sir.
And now here's the economy.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, I think it's a great news. Although, I mean, it took us a long time to have such kind of, it's 22 years.
True.
And in fact, in the last 14 years, we didn't have any surplus. So this is indeed a good news. You know, this current account surplus is, what should I say, addition of what we receive from overseas.
All right.
That's our remittances. They have taken a big jump, you know, I don't know, 27, 28%, about 30%.
Yep.
That's one thing. Then our exports, and the third big thing is foreign investment coming in. And minus whatever you import, plus whatever profits that you remit, etc. So it's a balance sheet of what you send out versus what you get.
True.
And it's after a long time, because our imports, we are a big, I mean, a country of 240, 50 million people.
Yes, sir.
So we need a lot of imports, energy, etc. So our imports have been quite high. Exports have not been keeping, in fact. So this remittance thing is helping us to have a balance.
And for the people watching at home, right? So how are they going to absorb this? They say they're just sitting there thinking, how is this surplus going to affect them? Is it going to translate to better job opportunities, currency stability, reduced inflation?
Yes, I mean, I know there are too many expectations too soon, but you know, only 3-4 years ago or 5 years ago, I mean, the last 4-5 years, this has been happening, that everybody predicted Pakistan is going to default.
All right.
I mean, you know, they're going to go bankrupt. And that would have meant terrible. That would have meant long queues at petrol stations, no medicine, nothing, all that. So we are out of that. And so the first thing I think the government's focus was to have some stabilization. So we are moving in the next phase. And hopefully, this year we achieved a growth of 2.7%. And hopefully by next year, 3.7, 4%. And if we go beyond that 4%, because our population is growing quite fast, so then there'll be more opportunities, more employment.
Exactly, and so not just that. In addition to this, there's this very amazing incident that I came across, and that was that. So I was hosting this ceremony for Rice Export Association of Pakistan almost like 1 year ago, and you know, the gentleman who happens to be the representative of REAP, he actually came onto the podium and said that the Prime Minister wants us to take it to $8 billion or $14 billion. Now imagine that there was this gentleman who said that our Prime Minister is very optimistic with his vision. So let us talk about those key reforms which have been actually implemented, because you happen to be the Prime Minister's member on committee on implementation of tariff reforms. So what tariff reforms have been put in place to achieve such a result?
Yes, I think this is one of the biggest reforms which we are doing it our own. Normally, IMF pushes us, do this, energy, your currency, this, that. But this is a locally developed thing.
Wonderful.
I think even IMF was saying, you know, this is a little bit too ambitious. But the Prime Minister said, just push it on. We want an export-led growth. We want to double our exports in 5 years. What was happening previously was that Pakistan has been a very inward-looking. So we were kind of not looking to compete outside. And now, when we lower our tariffs, that means the foreign goods can come in. So our industry has to produce goods which can compete with foreign goods. So not only they can sell here, but they can sell abroad. So you know, you take any example, say a mobile phone. Now currently the taxes are so high that whatever they produce within the country, so they have to they will sell in the market, because you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice for a car. You don't have a choice about anything. Then you will have a choice. But then our industry will realize that to have economies of scale, they must also get into exports.
All right.
Exactly, and sir, in addition to this, where we have spoken about economies of scale, I was in conversation with one of the member of the Rawalpindi chamber, and the sentiment is really mixed, you know. So for some it might have worked out, for some it might not have worked out. And for me to be their voice, what are the challenges that a local producer might face as of now? Because in terms of tariffs, I think that there has been a bit of dubiousness.
Yes, sure. I mean, you know, if you're got used to more protectionism and there's no competition, you're very comfortable.
Yeah, that's
so any change is a little bit uncomfortable.
True.
But that's what every other country did. I mean, you know, all these countries who passed us, like Vietnam, like Turkey, etc., they were behind us. But they opened up their economies to competition. That brought more productivity increased.
Okay.
Because if you have lower tariffs, you get better machinery, you get better raw materials. Your exports, you can have more input of imported components, so that improves the quality. For the time being, you know, we get about 17-18 billion of exports of these textile, clothing, etc. But it's sells at a very cheap price.
okay.
Because we are unable to use the imported components.
Exactly. And not just that, the textile and IT sectors have actually grown in the export sizes, right? So like the textile exports grew around a 7.4%, and the IT-enabled services exports soared up to 44%. So now are we going to be an export-led economy rather than an import economy? I think you did explain that very well.
Yes. I mean, these are the, textile has been our traditional for forever.
True.
But countries have to move on. You just can't have one. You have to, for example, many countries moved on after textile, they started making these auto parts. And then, but for us, I think the big thing is this IT industry that you mentioned. I mean, this is because you don't really need any input like for any other industry. Like if you want to make something, engineering goes, you need some steel, some other thing. But here, it's just one time you import computers, and that's it. And you have a lot of population, and many graduates are coming out. And already this year, almost 30% increase. So if they can keep up this, I think they want to get to 2030. I think they want to get something like, now it's 4.5 billion, but they want to make it to 15 billion.
Exactly.
Right.
But not just that, obviously. I think this is not a question. So this is something which I would want to say to all of those people who are affiliated with the IT industry that, because I've been in conversation, that's what I do every day. They were like, oh, there have been so many taxes imposed on us, so, they're figuring out ways. So I think everybody needs to kind of contribute towards your economic prosperity of the country. But one more thing, sir, which I'm going to talk about over here is the record remittances that we were able to garner. It was at somewhat around $38.2 or $38.3 billion per year.
Yeah.
Now, one of those things, because we have done a show just very recently, in the past week, we spoke about it. We do see that, how our major chunk of remittances come from the GCC countries and from other countries. Do you think that in days to come, probably you will suggest the Honorable Prime Minister that the State Bank really need to invest in the non-traditional zones where it might be Europe, because we have spoken about the economies of scale, but let's talk about people, might be smaller size of the chunk, but bigger money.
Yes. Well, one of the reasons I think there's a jump in remittances that economy is, our currency has stabilized around 282.3. So there's a realization that it's stable. So it's not going to from 150. It's not going to 250. So people are not holding up.
Okay.
They're sending. That's one reason. The other thing is I think that there used to be a big difference between what they used to get through bank remittance and what they would get through hundi. And that has come down. So they're making use of more of this. But the third thing is recently, as we were talking earlier on, that employment has been rather difficult here. So people have been moving out. And they find it much easier to move to Gulf, etc. And secondly to Europe. US is really tightened, especially since Trump came. So it's not that easy there. And also for the US, it's normally the upper strata moves, and who move their family, and they don't send anything back.
Thank you so much, sir, for being with us, Dr. Saab. It was wonderful to be in conversation with you, and it's a feat that Pakistani government was able to achieve under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister. And sir, when you meet him next time, please tell him that that we're really proud of him. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll send him over next time.
Wonderful. We will be waiting for him, and that's a promise that we're going to take from you as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. MANZOOR Saab has promised that inshallah, Honorable Prime Minister will be on the show in days to come. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation.
For the detailed breakthrough and unfolding how the economy is serving us and how it is serving Pakistan and sorting up, as we mentioned. And talking about sorting up, there also comes trying times where we maybe surge down, and that is regarding the cricket T20 series. I think, I'm just going to give some details, and Shahzad can give a little overview of it. The Bangladesh team beat Pakistan by 7 wickets in the first T20 international of the 3-match series in Dhaka. PTV Sports telecasted the match live. Earlier, Bangladesh captain Liton Das won the toss and chose to field first, sending Pakistan to bat, and Pakistan's innings started poorly as early wickets fell quickly. The opening of the pair of Rehan and Saim Ayub Beg, but Saim Awais dismissed early for just 6 runs. And I think Shahzad can give us a detailed breakthrough.
Exactly. I certainly do not want to give out any detail because, ladies and gentlemen, if you want any detail, please make sure that you log on to YouTube. Look for PTV Sports. The detailed version is over there. They didn't play well. That's it. So that's it. No good bowling attack, nothing at all. It was only Fakhar Zaman who was there. Ran out. But okay. I think we'll get better on the 22nd.
We definitely will.
But I think this is the game that I'm going to talk about because imagine Pakistani players score 5, Indians opt out, World Championship of Legends called off. Pakistan and India match being held under The World Championship of Legends at Birmingham, UK has been called off due to the stubbornness of the Indian players. According to reports, even after his retirement, Boom Boom Shahid Afridi continues to affect the nerves of Indians. According to media reports, 5 Indian players refused to play the match due to fear of Shahid Afridi. They are Yusuf Pathan, Irfan Pathan, Harbhajan Singh, Suresh Raina and Yuvraj Singh. The players had said if Shahid Afridi played for Pakistan, they would not play the match. Spectators had been eagerly waiting to watch the Pakistan-India match in the World Championship of Legends. Cricket fans have expressed extreme disappointment and displeasure over the Indian attitude. Such politics in sports is regrettable. And now imagine, so first our Air Force's score was 6-0. Now our Shahid Afridi's score is 5-0. So I think Shahid Afridi, you know, all the way, we're backing you up. Wonderful.
And we are definitely on a winning streak. As you know, our next guest is someone who is very exceptional, and from scoring early goals to standing tall against tough competition, the women of Pakistan have shown what it means to wear green and white with a lot of pride. So today with us is actually the captain and incredible team leader, a powerhouse and a midfielder of the Pakistani women's sports cricket team, who is Maria Khan.
Football team.
Football team. Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, Maria. How are you feeling today? Thank you so much for joining us.
Wa alaikum salam. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
And Maria, you did a very, very befitting defeat. How does it feel walking off the pitch after beating Kyrgyzstan and finally finishing the second in your group?
It was good. We had a tough start with our first game. So for any team to suffer a defeat like that and be able to bounce back, it just goes to show the character and the mindset of the whole team, from the staff to the coaches to the players.
All right.
Exactly, and not just that. I think, Maria, what I would certainly want to ask you is, you know, what is the sort of preparation that actually goes into it? So unfortunately, even if we may not have qualified, finishing second on the group, how does that feel? And do you think that that raises the morale of the entire team?
Yeah, I think it sets a good precedent going forward, and it shows not just Pakistan, but it shows Asia and also the rest of the football world what's to come from Pakistan. Again, in terms of preparation, we were able to finish second in the table without having much preparation. We didn't get a lot of support, and we weren't able to train as much as we would have liked to as a team. So for us to be able to accomplish what we did in such a short amount of time, again, it just goes to show the quality of the staff, quality of the coaches, and the quality of the players.
Thank you so much for saying that, Maria, because as a captain, I don't think that, you know, a lot of captains will definitely admit to that, you know, that we were short of support or we couldn't really train as much as that we could have, you know, to actually probably finish first or qualify. Why do you think that there was lack of support, and why do you think that there was lack of training? Is it because of the facilitation at your disposal?
It's a lot of things that come into play, right? It's the facilities, the infrastructure within the country. It's the lack of funding that gets put into not just football, but all of the sports in our country, apart from cricket. So again, for us to have to rely on funding from third parties outside of the country, it just becomes difficult. So for us to be able to come together and, you know, put all of that to the side and just get on with playing football, again, it's a true character and testament to, you know, the type of environment our staff and our coaches have created for us.
True.
All right, and you know, you guys were able to win 2 out of 3 matches, which is very, very exceptional given the tough conditions of lack of training, lack of visibility. So how is the team charisma and chemistry, and how do you guys train against each other and with each other?
Yeah, so we always try to maintain a high level of training, right? You're going to play how you train, right? So if we're not training hard, if we're not training, you know, and challenging each other and holding each other accountable, then it's not going to just automatically show up in the game. So as far as our training goes, as far as, you know, the way we bonded as a team, it wasn't easy because we had a lot of new players in the team. So you know, it took a little bit of trial and error, but I think after the first game, we really came together and we put any differences aside, and you know, we went on and we fought for Pakistan and we fought for each other, and you know, we were able to get those 2 wins.
Exactly, and you know, those 2 wins that you've got, you've made everybody back home over here in Pakistan proud as well. But in addition to this, Maria, as captain of the Pakistan's women football team, there's one more essential aspect to it, and that is that imagine that you just mentioned that, putting all of those differences aside and playing as a team, it's wonderful. How do you think that, as a captain, makes it more challenging for you to kind of bring all of them onto the same page and then play with the same fervor and zeal and dedication?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to, just any type of leadership, it's knowing when to step away and let others lead, and when to step in if needed. So I think it was really nice this time because we really had players that stepped up and took on leadership roles and really served as a bridge between players and between players and between the staff and the coaching, etc. So for us to be able to, come together and let other people lead, it was really nice to see. And then again, if I'm there and I need to step in, if I need to step in, it's nice. But for me to, be able to take a back seat this time around, it was really nice to see. And, it's safe to say that the team is definitely in safe hands.
All right. And Maria, please let us know your opinion about how the AFC Women's Asian Cup qualifiers actually helped give you exposure. Did it boost your confidence and morale and overall recognition on a global stage?
It did. We got a lot of global attention, not just, so before this, I think we were recognized as a up and coming team in Asia, but I think with our recent performance, it surprised a lot of people, especially with the level of preparation that we had. So for us to come away with that result, it just made us more hungry as a team, and it made us, ready to just play and be ready whenever we're called upon.
Exactly. And Maria, not just that, so very quickly towards the end, obviously, what are we looking ahead with, in terms of our games, which might probably be set for Pakistan women's football team, number one. Number two, what message will you send back home to all of those women who might want to, take football or cricket or any sport as a profession?
Yeah, so I think as far as what we can look forward to next, we've currently, our Pakistan Football Association, Football Federation has just went through an election process. So we now have a president that's been appointed. So there's a governing body in place, and it seems like they're doing some good things at a domestic level, which is really nice because it'll give not just our women but our men's players as well, inshallah, an opportunity to start playing at a domestic level regularly. So we can look forward to that. As far as national team goes, the next FIFA window is in October. We don't know if we will participate or not during that window, but again, that is the next window of opportunity for the national team to play for women. And as far as the message to, young girls interested in sports and in Pakistan is, be resilient, don't be scared to be told no, don't fear rejection, because rejection is going to come a lot in your life. And again, it's just about that willingness to be able to show up and be better than you were yesterday.
Thank you so much, Maria, for your time. Thank you so much for your contribution to Pakistan women's football team. And thank you so much for raising our flag high and for whatever you and the rest of the girls have done as a team. We are certainly proud of it, and we'll make sure that, that in days to come, wherever, there's a presence of the Pakistan women's football team, that we are on top of it. And, if you have time, please make sure that you take our time to kind of talk about whatever is happening, maybe it in terms of training, maybe in terms of the upcoming matches or leagues or games. I think we'll make sure that, we are on top of it.
Definitely, definitely. And Shahzad, at the start of the morning show, we always start with the weather and how it's having devastating consequences because of climate change.
Okay.
And I think humans are digging the hole deeper for themselves once again because species are being led to extinction.
Okay.
So one of the rarest marine animals on Earth is on verge of extinction. It is the vaquita, which inhabits the northern region of the Gulf of California in Mexico. According to researchers, the population of the vaquitas has dropped drastically, with 10 to 15 remaining. Vaquitas are often caught and drowned in gill nets used by illegal fishing operations and in protected areas within the Gulf of California. And you can see how this fish looks so adorable. It looks kind of like a cross between a dolphin and a whale, right? And it's so adorable. And the fact that only 10 to 15 of these species is left, right? So imagine my family group chat has more members. My family group chat has more members than this
Shukr,
entire
alhamdulillah.
species.
Yeah,
Alhamdulillah.
because they're not rare species. That's why.
They're not, and this speaks about how there needs to be policies enacted in terms of fishing practices. And if we as humans had to stop eating a particular type of seafood to protect these species, I mean, we don't live in the northern part of America and near the Gulf of California. However, if those people had to stop, would they take this step? I think this
Exactly,
raises
and
a
thank
lot
you
of
so much for
questions.
saying that, because I think globally these ethical practices are being followed, and even over here in Pakistan, I'm not sure whether you're aware of it or not, but you know, I have been fishing like a few times, you know, in the north of Pakistan, where we do get the amazing trout, which go. Do you know what's the best part about trout?
I fish trout as well, because
Yeah.
when we were posted in Gilgit, so we would go.
Yeah.
There were trout fish
So,
farms.
so yeah, there's this one. Yeah, obviously, Eesha has not left any sport
Any
behind,
part
ladies
of
and
the-
gentlemen. But the best part is that trout actually swims against the stream.
the
Yeah,
stream.
so that one thing that I wanted to kind of bring to their notice, and not just that. I think so. What you do is that, you know, while you were in GB and when you were fishing, did you actually get the license to do that?
No, so we
See?
just visited.
See?
We just visited the fish farms in there.
Oh.
They would just breed the fish.
Farm
and we
fish,
would
no,
just
no
have it
good.
just-
Farm fish, no good. You know, you really have to fish, and for that, ladies and gentlemen, GB government authorities actually give you a license. You really have to pay a fee, and then you actually can go and, you know, fish as much as you want. So I think there's a season for that. There's a breeding season, and then, you know, then there's a season when you can go and fish. So please make sure that if you're out there in the north, I think this is the season when
is
you
the
can
best
get the
time,
license.
best
But
time
very
to
quickly,
fish.
ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to talk about today is that all of these things, where we talk about morals, where we talk about ethics, where we talk about knowledge, intelligence, all of this is related one way or the other to education and the kind of you know, environment that you got growing up. So to speak about it, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've spoken about how so many millions of children are actually out of school. What needs to be done about that? There's this gentleman who's actually doing something, and he came up with a brilliant idea, and that is school on wheels. You know, so delivering education to out-of-school children, where, you know, you can actually take your school to the children, teach them, and then bring it back home. So we're very lucky that we've been joined by an educationist, happens to be Syed Ali HAIDER NAQVI. Hello, NAQVI Saab, Assalamu Alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum Assalam, I'm well. How about you, Shahzad and Eesha?
Thank you so much for your time. Wonderful. Please share with us your concept of school on wheels.
Because it is such a powerful concept. So what inspired you, and how will this work through? Please give us a detailed breakdown.
Thank you so much, Shahzad and Eesha, for inviting me on this platform. And I did like to take this opportunity to explain the main concept behind the school on wheels. And it's about we are converting the mobile buses into classrooms, and these mobile schools will be utilized in areas where a large number of children are not attending schools, especially in communities where parents are hesitant to send their daughters. So we visit the area of Mehrabadi in G11 sector, and we collect the data. So according to this data, it's about 350 plus students are out of school in this area, and around the ratio between that is 60% 60% students are uneducated. So that's why we plan to launch the School on Wheels project in different areas. So first we start in Mehrabadi, inshallah.
All right, and it is a very fascinating and interesting initiative, and a very brave initiative, I must say, going in these rural areas with this mobile vehicle in which children will attend these classes. So what kind of subjects will you teach? Will it be more skill-based or subject-based? Please enlighten us.
We teach all type of subjects, it's for a small children's age between 5 to 14 years. And skills, according to the skills, we arrange the diplomas for them. Many children are working in different fields of workshops and different areas. So we are here to polish their skills as well.
All right.
Exactly, and in addition to this, I think what we really need to talk about over here, NAQVI Saab, is that, you know, the kind of education that we are disseminating to our children. Now, imagine how effective do you think that the courses or the disciplines that you are making sure will be out there for children who are out of schools? How do you think that you will manage it according to their IQ levels? Because that's something that we really need to kind of make sure is out there, that they are able to understand whatever we're trying to educate them.
First of all, we just want to break the mindset of the people, mindset of society, and then we properly counsel them by a psychologist, and psychologist team will counsel them properly, and we arrange different sessions for them. We arrange different visits to different departments like medicine, like engineering departments, and army, and as well. So we just make their goal first. Then we will move to our next task.
All right. And you know, since you have driven deep into the research of why children are not educated and how 35% of the children in this area are not receiving any education, what do you think are the factors that contribute to this? Is it the lack of awareness, child begging, child labor? So what kind of psychology embeds this step forward, and how are you going to eradicate it?
Actually, if you see the concept that why children are doing these type of things, so it's totally depend upon financial support. Many children are in the society is not financially stabilized, so that's why if you just say that child labor, why child labor is done? Just because many children are handling their family, so that's why they don't go for school. So we will try to arrange their alternative way to earn money, and arrange classes at that time where in which they are feasible to get education.
Exactly, and Ali Haider, you know, one of the other part that I would want to touch upon is that, you know, for now that you're collecting donations and this school will be operational in 2026. So how far are we in terms of donations, and when do you think that, you know, this program will roll out in 2026?
Actually, Shahzad, we are making our team like sponsors and collaborators, and inshallah, we will plan the project in totally planned. We have designed a structure for a mobile school buses that accommodate around 40 to 50 students, and we plan renovate old and unused buses. And our estimated operational price around 7 million PKR. So
All
at
right.
this stage,
Exactly. So, you know, we got it as well, but thank you so much for this brilliant idea. Thank you so much for thinking about children who are out of school. And thank you so much for taking school to them. Thank you so much, Mr.
You.
Syed Ali Haider Naqvi Saab, you know, for being with us. And thank you so much for taking up such an initiative where you will make sure that, you know, the children who are out of school will actually have access to education. And I think it's great, Eesha, to see that, you know, that there are people out there. Do you think that one day probably you will pick up on such a social service?
I do. I always dream about doing things like these, and people who take initiatives like these actually motivate me, not just me, but all the people watching, right? So it feels like it's not impossible to do. If you have the right community supporting you, if you have the right investments and the right mindset to move forward, you can definitely achieve what you want and give back to the society that has brought you up with so much love.
Thank you so much for saying that. I think that was a wonderful message that you've given out, and for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, look after yourselves. And please make sure that you try to reflect upon what Eesha just said, because it was a beautiful thought that she shared for each and every one of us who are out there. Look after yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Pakistan Zindabad. Good morning.